This system of governance must also be perfect. It must be the most efficient medium for the use, transmission, and regulation of power in the universe, working in harmony within the moral structure of the universe. It must be a system of righteousness. Joseph Smith declared to the saints in 1843 that the Melchizedek priesthood is a perfect law of theocracy, standing as God, who is also perfect. Indeed, how can an imperfect priesthood or imperfect system of governance give man and woman godhood and endless lives? Only the fullness of the Melchizedek priesthood can make man kings and priests, along with the keys of powers and blessing. As early as 1832, the Lord informed Joseph Smith, and through him the saints of his church, that the system of the church was perfect. He compared it to a perfectly functioning body where the members acted in their own offices without exceeding their commission. At the head of this system is the greater or Melchizedek priesthood. As the Apostle Paul pointed out to the Corinthian saints, the church is the body of Christ, who is perfect. The Melchizedek priesthood is a perfect system of governance. It can also be called a theocracy, with God at the head of this system. A perfect system of governance, by definition, needs no changes. It cannot be improved through any modification. This is the whole point of the body of Christ metaphor, where all the members are to work as one. This means that priesthood governance need not, nor should be changed in any particular, whether it be structure, authorities, or its ordinances. Joseph Smith was very clear on the point of changing ordinances. He cited the sacrifices of Cain and Abel. Abel offered up the firstlings of his flock in sacrifice, which was approved by the Lord. Joseph explained that Abel had been taught the gospel and its ordinances. The ordinances, he further explained, were always the same and, by implication, are never to be changed. Cain, on the other hand, changed the ordinance from the sacrifice of the firstlings of the flock to the fruit of the ground. The Lord rhetorically asked why Cain was angry. He then explained that his offering would have been accepted if he had done well, meaning obeyed the commandment on how the sacrifice was to be performed. Otherwise, it was a sin. Now we know that Adam, Eve, and their posterity were instructed on how to perform the ordinance of sacrifice from the book of Moses. But Cain followed Satan's version of the law. Joseph taught that the example of Cain's sacrifice signified that the ordinances must be kept exactly as the Lord appointed. Any change in the slightest will curse instead of bless. This principle holds in all aspects of the priesthood. There are at least two forms of cursing that come from changing the perfect system of theocracy. First, God directly penalizes those who make the changes in violation of commandment, as he did with Cain. Of course, this curse does not always come immediately. Second, the very change itself reduces the efficiency of the priesthood and its power due to its connection to the light of Christ and the moral order of the universe. Blessing and cursing implies that there is a moral component to the exercise of priesthood authority and power. As we pointed out earlier, the system must be a perfect system of righteousness. The Lord made explicit that the rights of the priesthood are inseparably connected with the powers of heaven. He He also made it clear that if there is any degree of unrighteousness, the heavens and their inherent powers through the Spirit of the Lord are reduced and eventually withdrawn. The priesthood becomes an empty title. Priesthood authority and power, like the light of Christ, can only be exercised upon principles of righteousness, referring to alignment with the moral structure of the universe.